Housing Commissioners. The first thing I'm going to do is go around and make sure I can hear everyone and everyone can hear me. So I see Shalita Whitaker, who I believe is the tenant in this matter. Good morning, Ms. Whitaker. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Thank you. I see Todd K. Rhodes, who I believe is the landlord in this matter. Mr. Rhodes, if you're able to hear me, thank you for unmuting. Please let me know.
I can hear you.
Thank you, sir. I see Mr. Valle, who's representing tenant Ms. Whitaker. Mr. Valle, if you're able to hear me, can you please unmute yourself and let me know?
Yes. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. So everyone is here and everyone can hear me, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with our hearing. How I do that is I've got to read a statement. I read in every single case. After I'm done reading my statement, I'll hand the case over to the case manager, Ms. Enlow, who will swear you in and get your names and spellings. After that, the commissioners will go ahead and get started with the hearing. So please bear with me as I read this to you. Good morning again. I'm Allie DeMedeiros. I'm the attorney for the Fair Housing Commissioners. Also present here today from the Fair Housing Commission staff is Miss Alexis Enlow. That's the case manager. And you also see Miss Jomaris Castro Almeida, who is our, she runs our Zooms for us. Before I get started, there's a couple things I'm required to go over with you. First, you're being recorded. We record all our hearings. By remaining on the line and participating in the hearing, you are consenting to be recorded. Our Zoom hearings have the same force and effect as if we were in person. The only difference is on Zoom, we do not have a court reporter. In the event either party wants to appeal a final order of this commission, you can reach out to me or the case manager and we'll provide you with a copy of the video recording. Please be mindful of what you're saying and doing because it is being recorded. Second, at 10 o'clock this morning, the commissioners and myself, the attorney, met in a private executive session to discuss the day's cases. We do that on every hearing day with every case. Third, the parties had the opportunity to submit documents. I have the submitted documents saved on my computer and can share them with everyone on the screen. Please keep in mind that the commission generally only reviews the very basic documents in a case prior to the hearing. If you would like a document reviewed, please just give me a name, date, or description, and I'll go ahead and put it on the screen so we can all look at it at the same time. Lastly, during the course of today's hearing, it might be necessary for the commissioners to speak privately to make decisions in this matter. If they need to do that, they will invite you to join separate rooms divided by party called breakout rooms. A prompt will come on your screen at the appropriate moment asking you if you would like to join a breakout room. We will direct you to click join when you see that prompt. Once in the breakout room, please remain in the room. We will never end a hearing when you are in a separate room. Please make sure you are back in this main room and that a commissioner or staff member dismisses you before you log off or hang up. Thank you again for listening. With that, I am going to hand the case over to Miss Alexis. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. This is the matter of Shalita Whitaker versus TRT Street LLC. This is the first fair housing hearing for this matter. The docket number is 2024-12-20-19500. At this time, beginning with the tenant, can you please state and then spell your first and last name slowly and clearly for the record?
Shalita Whitaker, SHALITA, Whitaker, WHITAKER.
Thank you. Landlord, can you please state and spell your first and last name slowly and clearly for the record?
First name Todd, TODD. Last name Rhodes Thompson, RHODES hyphen Thompson, THOMPSON.
Thank you very much. At this time, I would like to swear the parties in. Can you please both raise your right hands? Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes.
Thank you. Counsel, can you please put your name on the record and state who you are representing?
Sure. Peter Valle, last name VALLE, representing Shalita Whitaker.
Thank you very much. The commission has 3 rules for today's hearing. First, do not speak over or interrupt each other, and do not speak over or interrupt the commissioners. Each party will have an opportunity to give testimony and present their evidence. Second, please do not use generic phrases such as he or she. When you refer to an individual, please use the tenant, the landlord, or their name to keep the record clear. And third, when giving a date, please give a complete date that includes the year each time. The commissioners present today are Commissioner Sang, Commissioner Bias, and Commissioner Brunson. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for appearing before the Fair Housing Commission. Because it is the tenant that filed the complaint, we're going to start with the tenants and then we will move to the landlord. And I am going to start with the tenant by asking just some preliminary questions to establish jurisdiction and to streamline the process. So these questions are for the tenants. Did you file your fair housing complaint on December 20th, 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And what is the address of the property that we're here for today?
5822 Warrenton Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19143.
Thank you. Do you still currently reside there?
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you first move in?
March 22nd of 2024.
And how long is the term of your lease?
1 year.
And at the beginning of the lease, when you first moved in, what did you pay the landlord?
4,000.
And what does the 4,000 include?
First, last, and security deposit.
Okay, was it divided evenly amongst those three?
Yes, I believe, yes.
Okay. And what is the rent currently?
1,600.
Okay. And when you moved in, did you receive a certificate for rental suitability?
No, ma'am.
Have you received that at any point?
No, ma'am.
And what about the Partners for a Good Housing Handbook?
No, ma'am.
And have you received the lead certificates?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you receive that?
I received it on the 17th. At the property, it was left at the property with my lease in a folder, which I still have here.
I'm sorry, can you tell me the date again?
It was March 17th
Of
when I
here.
received, the lead packet with my lease in the folder, which was left in the residence on the heater in the residence.
I see. And what year is that, just to clarify?
2024.
24. Okay, thank you. And let's see. And you said that you moved in 2024, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it has not been a year yet. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to hand questions off to your counsel.
Okay.
Thank you. If I could just open with a few brief remarks.
Sure.
So Ms. Whitaker filed this complaint after receiving a notice to vacate in November, on November 27th. That notice to vacate was received after she had commenced withholding rent in the month of November of 2024. Prior to that, in September, and then before that, even Ms. Whitaker had notified the landlord about issues with the heat, as well as other issues with the property, but most concerningly, the heat. And then in September, she notified the landlord again that the heat was not working. September and then October passed and the heat was not repaired. In addition, L&I inspected the property in October of 2024, and on October 21st issued violations, citing numerous violations, but then also the heat. And then beginning in November, she started to withhold rent. We have the proof of her escrowing that rent. She did this under her right under the implied warranty of habitability. And then in November, the landlord sent a notice to vacate. We want that notice to be invalidated as retaliatory and in violation of the Philadelphia Code, which prohibits terminating tenancies after L&I has issued violations. In addition, we're asking the commission to find that the certificate of rental suitability in the Partners for Good Housing was never delivered. And so our final ask for relief will be that no rent is owed to the landlord and that the notice to quit is invalid.
Thank you, counsel. So at this point, I'm going to ask Mr. Rose Thompson to see if he has a brief opening to make.
Good morning.
Right.
I would like to say that this is my second tenant in owning the property. I've owned the property for the past couple years, and this is my first time ever going through something like this. And it's very interesting to learn and find out situations, and I'm just here to state the facts and go from there.
So counsel, you may ask questions.
Sure. I won't repeat any questions that the commission has already asked Ms. Whitaker.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Whitaker.
Good morning.
Ms. Whitaker, you are currently withholding your rent. Is that correct?
Yes.
And when did you begin withholding your rent?
November 1st of 2024.
And you have the rent from November through February escrowed.
Yes, sir.
If the commission could please bring up tenant exhibit I, proof of escrow.
Mr. Valle, I don't have your packet. When was it sent?
I sent it yesterday because we got involved late.
Okay, okay. what time yesterday?
Um,
It doesn't really matter if you have it and you can put it on the screen, but things need to go in earlier.
I understand. I apologize. I sent it yesterday at noon.
Okay, yeah, if you could put it on the screen, I'd appreciate it. I don't have them to do.
Sure. So I should just share my screen?
Yep.
Okay. I'm just going to exit a couple things out before I do that. Okay. All right. Okay. It's just taking a minute, it looks like.
That's okay. I'll try and download it as well.
Okay. I am opening up tenant exhibit I, proof of escrow. I'm going to rotate it. Ms. Whitaker, you are withholding your rent from November of 2024 through February 2025 of Bank of America, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
And this is the escrow account?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
well, I just want to caution you're leading a lot. I appreciate you trying to streamline things, but especially because council is present, I'm just going to caution you against leading.
Okay. All right. I would like to move exhibit I into evidence. I can supply a copy to the commission.
Yes, please. You have to, please email to me when you have a minute, Mr. Valle.
I will. Okay. Ms. Whitaker, why did you start withholding your rent?
Due to the non-repairs of heating and the other repairs of the housing that needed to be repaired as well.
Could you briefly describe to the commission first the problem with the heat in the property?
Okay, prior to me, moving in, I signed my lease March 17th of 2024. I moved into the property physically March 22nd of 2024. When I moved in March 22nd of 2024, I immediately turned the heat on because it's cold outside. It was constant banging, and the house didn't get get warm after about, I say, 2 hours of me, moving into the residence and cleaning. I'm disinfecting the home. I'm like, well, let me give it another hour or two. So I reached out to which I thought was the landlord, but she was the property manager, which was March 22nd of 2024, the same exact day. And she told me, she sent me and text that an HVAC guy would be coming out the next day, which should have been March 23rd, 2024.
Okay. And Ms. Whitaker, in the months of September of 2024 through December of 2024, so we're talking about the fall and early winter, was the heat working in the property? Or could you provide, okay, could you explain how well it was working or just give more specifics?
Okay, it was, I have to turn the thermostat up to about 90, the highest. The is constant banging. The radiators does not get hot at all. It's leaking, constant leaking from the radiators, which causing, corrosion around the radiators, which cause termites as well. So it's just not working, and I'm trying. I'm just frustrated.
Okay. And Ms. Whitaker, in addition to the heat, could you briefly explain to the commission what other issues you've had at the property?
Yes, a termite issue in the rear bedroom. Prior to me moving in, when I came out to look at the property March 17th, March 13th of 2024 is when I looked at the property with a property manager. Besides, the back bedroom around the radiator, it was a gigantic hole there. You can tell that something either was eating at it, or the case may be, And I let, Mr. Tide know about that issue as well. He sent exterminator out. The exterminator stated that it's termite infested back there, which I has a 3-bedroom and I only occupied 1 bedroom due to the heating. And then, the termites, which was in my daughter's room. She never got a chance to, enjoy her room. So.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Whitaker. So to sum it up, can you please just tell the commission how these problems have impacted your use of the property?
As far it keeps me up at night because the banging of the pipes and the radiators and then the leaking, me having to get up and keep changing the bucket up under it or re-wringing the towel, like it's just, and then me getting sick, I just got over in a real bad, RSV infection. So, that comes from not having proper heating. It's no heat, in this home at all. Like.
Okay. Ms. Whitaker, so you testify that there are issues with the property, most importantly the heat. Did you notify your landlord about these problems and ask for repairs?
Yes, sir.
How did you ask the landlord? How did you notify the landlord, and how did you request repairs?
In text.
Okay. I would like to bring up another exhibit, which are text messages from Ms. Whitaker to the landlord. I'm not sure if I'm still sharing my screen.
Yes,
Or if
you're not still sharing, but please you go ahead and share, please.
Okay. All right. So these are a collection of texts. I am just going to bring the commission's attention to a couple. First, let me say, Ms. Whitaker, can you please tell the court who these text messages are to?
Yes, these text messages are to the property manager, which at that time I thought was the landlord at the time.
Okay. So the ones that say landlady are to the property manager.
Yes, sir. Kalima Jackson.
Okay. And these other messages, which don't have a name there, but that number, this number here,
Yes.
who is that to? Who are you texting in that message?
Mr. Todd Rhodes.
Okay, so the landlord.
Yes, the landlord.
Okay. And who are these messages to Tyler House Guy?
The same, because that's when I stored his name, I stored his name, and that's also the landlord, Mr. Todd, as well.
So all of these messages are to the landlord except for the ones that say landlady. That's correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would like to move the exhibits into evidence. Ms. Whitaker has testified that she sent them. I would like to bring the commission's attention to a message sent in September.
So you have to elicit testimony for your client.
Okay. Ms. Whitaker, when did you first text the landlord about the heat in the property?
September, besides March 22nd of 2024, the next time I contacted my landlord was September 26th of 2024.
Okay. Ms. Whitaker, is this the message you sent?
Yes.
Okay. So Ms. Whitaker sent this message saying, last night I turned my heat on to make sure it's working. It's not. No other radiator get hot, but the bathroom and the pipes bang more than it did. So Ms. Whitaker, can you please explain what was going on at the property at this time?
Okay, he did, like I said, don't get it wrong. Mr. Ty is an awesome landlord. I called him, he sends someone out, but like I told Mr. Ty, the landlord, it's constant banging, and the radiators is not getting hot. So me and Mr. Ty had a, talk face to face here in the home, that he would need a brand new heating system. That was in September. But prior to September conversation face to face about getting a new heating system, he also told me that, back in June in a text, or whatnot. So he came through, Mr. Ty came out to the house because I'm like, now at this point, I gotta try to get the landlord out here to see for himself that something's not right. Like he sends people out, but something is not getting done right. He comes, he feels cold. So he told me that Mr. Mike, which is the guy that he sends out, to do the heating system or whatnot, said that he had to come out to, level them out. And I'm like, well, Mr. Ty, why is that if you told me you just had a whole new heating system? I'm confused to why it's not working.
Okay. Ms. Whitaker, did you notify the landlord after this time that the heat was not working? Were there any messages you sent after this?
Yes, again in October 16th, the beginning of October, that's when my daughter was sick. She were released from the hospital as well for RSV, cold, a real bad cold infection as
And
well.
Ms. Whitaker, this message here that's on the screen, this is the message you sent on October 16th that you just described?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So you've testified that you notified the landlord in September and then again in October that the heat was not working.
yes.
Did the landlord repair the heat?
No,
Okay.
no.
After you sent these messages, what did you do? Did you contact anyone?
Yes, I contact LNI at this point.
Okay. What did L&I do?
They came out October 22nd-ish, around 2024. They did the inspection. They filled them
Okay.
for multiple things. And the heat were one as well.
I would like to bring up this violation notice.
I'll put up the LNI violations.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So has any of the issues been addressed and repaired?
It's minor repaired. I had an heating contractor come out on January 11th, 2025 to come actually do an estimate, because I even told Mr. Rice, the guy that he has coming out not doing a great job. I did tell him that. So I told him I can at least try to, help in some type of way, because I knew the guy wasn't doing a great job. So maybe we can bring someone else out to at least do an estimate, or the case may be. So when a guy came out to do the estimate or whatnot, it was cold in my house. So what he did, he was with another gentleman. So what they did do was go and bled the whole system down in the basement. And they charged me $600 for that. But it was the heat, the radiators are minor repair because they're warm. They're not hot. And I have my heat, if I show you the thermostat is on 90.
So Ms. Whitaker, do you currently have heat?
Barely, no.
So for the record, LNI cleared the violations, including the heat violation on January 13th, 2025.
Right, so I think that's why we're confused as to the fact that LNI cleared it, but you're saying that you barely have heat.
Can I talk? Okay, on the 13th, I get on the 10th of January of 2025, I get an email from Mr. Ross, because he no longer was communicating with me, through text. He would email me at this moment. He told me he was coming out to do a maintenance check. At that time, I were going downtown to, put in another complaint or whatnot. That was the time that, that L&I came out. At that time, Mr. Rod my landlord already had received the email from me stating that it was minor repaired for the heat. You see what I'm saying? And that was on January 11th when the contractor came out here for me, to do the minor repair. So it was, working just for the time being, because now it's barely working again. I don't understand. I'm frustrated. I don't understand.
Okay. Ms. Savari, do you have any remaining questions?
I have a few additional questions, but it's only so that Ms. Whitaker can elicit the dates where I do have a couple more questions.
Okay.
I'll make them somewhat quick.
Thank you.
Ms. Whitaker, you testified that L&I came out in October and issued violations. What did you do after that?
After that, I went downtown to do complaint for civil suit, but before then I notified fair housing because at this point I'm frustrated. Like, I've been telling the landlord since March of 2024, since moving in here, like it's the heating, it's the heating, it's the heating. Again,
Ms. Whitaker, did you send anything to the landlord in writing?
in reference to the heating, yes.
Okay. I'm good. I would like to pull up another exhibit. I'll share my screen again. Ms. Whitaker, can you please tell us what this is?
Yes, that's a letter from when I reached out to, the Clinic for Disabled to help me, write a letter out to send to my landlord in reference to the repairs that need to be done, especially the heating.
And did you send this letter to your landlord?
Yes, certified.
Okay, and when did you send it?
The same time that he received the withholding of rent.
Okay. I'm going to pull up another exhibit. Ms. Whitaker, could you please tell the commission what this is?
Oh, that's a letter, a certified letter that I sent to the landlord of withholding my rent.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how did you send this to the landlord?
Certified as well.
I would like to move these C and D into evidence. Okay. Ms. Whitaker, after L&I issued violations and you sent those notices, did you receive anything from the landlord?
Yes, a termination of my lease, and then a email from the eviction diversion program.
Ms. Whitaker, this is the notice you received from your landlord?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Whitaker, you testified that you hired somebody to come and make repairs to the heat?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And can you please explain this invoice to the commission?
Yes, the invoice is when they came out, to do the estimate of what needs to be done. As far as the radiators, they bled. They had to go downstairs. Like I said, it took a 2 day from January 10th, 2025 to January 11th of 2025 because it was a 2 day thing. They had to go down into the basement. They had to drain, I guess, the little system down there, as well as coming up to all the radiators, which I believe is 6 radiators, and they had, to twist and then retwist them. Like they had to keep bleeding them. So then they left them at a certain number, whereas though I guess they said that there are self bled radiators, so they don't know what's going on. So they didn't want to go any further because they would have had to charge me more, and I didn't have that type of money. I just had enough for as though just try to at least get the house warm for me and my baby. That's it.
Okay. So, Ms. Whitaker, the number here, the 600 is what you paid, correct?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
And that was someone through the guy. I was referred through that heating person through the guy that Mr. Mike had, that Mr. Ty, the landlord, had been coming out sending. He had gave me someone prior, like months, like in the summertime, of people, maintenance guy that come and do homes. So that's someone I just reached out to.
Okay. I will stop sharing. I have one additional question for Ms. Whitaker that has to do with the exhibit that the landlord has provided. I can either ask her that question now or after the landlord presents.
Which exhibit?
It's an exhibit saying that Ms. Whitaker received the certificate of rental suitability.
Go ahead. I have it on the screen.
Ms. Whitaker, your landlord has submitted a document which purportedly shows your signature saying you received the certificate of rental suitability. Did you sign this document?
No.
Did you receive the certificate of rental suitability?
No.
Did you receive the Good Housing Handbook?
No.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Thank you. So we're gonna at this point go to the landlord, and so I have some questions just to streamline the process. First is, can you confirm how much the rent is currently?
Currently $1,600, ma'am.
And what did the tenant pay upon moving in?
Upon moving in, I have the lease right here, so it was, I believe, prorated, due to her moving in the middle of the month. So she paid 800 plus 3,200. So that's 4,000. Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me how that breaks down? Like what's for rent, what is for deposit?
So last month's deposit is 1,600. Security deposit is 1,600, and she gave me $800 of first month's rent because she moved in the middle of the month.
I see. Okay. Thank you. And did you deliver to the tenant the certificate for rental suitability?
I did. The lead certificate that she's referring to in the Manila folder was provided to her along with my rentals license, my certificate of rental suitability, and a good housing handbook that I printed out. And the reason why I know I handed it to her because I have a colleague that was going through an eviction process prior to in South Philadelphia, and these are the suggestions that he told me prior to Miss Whitaker moving in. When I arrived, when she signed her lease, I gave her the manila folder with all the documents inside. She signed the paperwork and I left.
Okay. At this point, do any of the other commissioners have any questions?
I have no questions.
Okay.
Just confirm that this is the certificate of rental suitability that was sent, that was given.
Correct.
Okay, and it was, what date was
Fill it
it?
out.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Commissioner.
Had you filled it, so the version that you gave to the tenant, did you fill that version out?
I did.
Okay. And what day did you provide this to the tenant?
3/17,
Ellen,
2024. I'm sorry.
thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, this is Commissioner Reyes. So the tenant did say that that was not her signature. How did you acquire that signature?
She signed it in front of me.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Rhodes, do you have any questions for the tenant?
Um, no questions.
Okay. And then do you have any response to her allegations about the repairs?
Absolutely. So upon moving in, um, the young lady that she's referring to in regards to a property manager, I hired outsourced through another colleague of mine to find a tenant. She told me that Miss Whitaker, I didn't do a there's a lot of things I didn't do in this situation, but didn't do a background check. But the main thing Miss Kalima said was that she didn't have any history of evictions. So I said, okay, the property is as is. If she wants to, the way Kalima and Miss Whitaker presented it to me is that I'm in a hotel, I have a child, I have all my stuff in U-Haul. I need to move in now. So I said, no problem, we can accommodate you. Based off of the information that I've been sending in regards to my own supports, is just to verify and show that throughout the year, my biggest thing is communication. I've reached out to Miss Whitaker multiple times to the point where I'll have multiple, like she said, I had every time she talks to me, I'm sending somebody out. Um, I'm having them look at the repairs. Unfortunately, due to certain dispositions that Ms. Whitaker might have during that time when I'm sending a maintenance person out, it would interfere with the work that being getting done due to the workers not feeling comfortable at the residence. That's why it required me to start showing up towards the end of the situation because just to streamline the situation, I never yelled or screamed. Me and Miss Whitaker never had a hostile
Oh,
interaction. But I will say, based off of the information that I've sent, you can see back in June, I hired a maintenance company to complete and overhaul the whole heating system in June. Um, it cost me altogether $4,750 for a new heating system. I did send the pictures in regards to the heating system. I also sent the pictures um, of the repairs, as you can see here. That was in regards to the LNI violations that I was aware of. So um, to my fault, not blaming anybody else. In October and November, I did not know that I had LNI violations. Unfortunately, I didn't. It did. The address that I have on my LLC is not the address that I live at currently. So when I went to check my mail, it wasn't there, but I received a call from the LNI maintenance worker, and I returned the call in December, or the LNI inspector, I'm sorry. So once I received the call, understood that I did have violations, I immediately reached out to my maintenance team, and as of 12/17, I have a a invoice of Johnson and Johnson Construction Company providing to me the repairs that was done. And at the bottom on number 6, it says the heating is working properly and done. Now, the thing is that with the people that I was hiring, they would tell me that every time I would send them out, and this is when I'm not there, that's why I had to start coming, that the heat is fine. Miss Whitaker is telling them that the heat is fine, um,
For the
and that there's
record, I'd like
issues
to just object
in
to
regards to
hearsay.
other
Okay,
issues. But
Mr. Rhodes, you can't, so hearsay, especially when somebody else is telling you about something that somebody else had said, that we can't really consider that, so I just wanna let you
I
know.
will button my lips, no problem.
Go ahead.
um, yeah. So the heating was fixed. I called LNI back. They came out in early January before the 13th, like a week before, and they said that the one radiator wasn't getting as hot as it needed to get. So when I came out on the 13th, I made sure I was there. I made sure my maintenance worker was there. And prior to this, as you can see on 12/17, the heat was working properly. But on the 13th, when they came, well, the week before the 13th of January, I came out with LNI. They said one radiator wasn't getting hot enough in the front bedroom. When I came back out on the 13th, me and the maintenance man arrived an hour early prior to the LNI inspector coming out. And this is the day that Ms. Whitaker referred to going to file a complaint. She wasn't there. So basically, when I came into the house, what I noticed was that the oven was open. And what the maintenance person was telling to me is that if the oven is on, which the oven was on, it was turned off recently because the oven was still warm. If the oven is open and the thermostat is on the first floor, heat will not cut on because the heat in the house is reading that it's warm. So when by the time a person comes out to check the heat, so to speak, they're going to say that the radiators upstairs aren't warm because the heat never cut on because the heat was staying at a certain temperature due to the oven. So we closed the oven, we checked out all the whole heating system, went turned up the thermostat to around 80, and within 45 minutes the whole house was hot. L&I came out, and as you can see on the 13th, I was cleared of those repairs. In regards to the other violations, um there were smoke detectors, carbon dioxide, and fire extinguishers there at the property when Miss Whitaker signed her lease. I'm not sure if things was taken out. I'm not sure, but as of the 17th of March, those were there. I was working on a termite issue in the back room, and I did. There was a hole in the floor, but I did put wood. I had one of my maintenance workers put wood over the hole until I can get the termite situation rectified. Which, as you can see, through my evidence, I've been trying throughout the year. I had a one pest control until I finally got in touch with Terminix, which I have the invoice for, that I paid to just have everything done in regards to is bait on the outsides to keep from the termites from going in. So now that situation is rectified.
And then can we go back to the CRS, Ally?
Yes, sorry, bear with me. Just gotta close some stuff.
So Mr. Rhodes, were you aware that when you provided this in March that this had expired?
I wasn't, because I thought it was good for a year. Just to be honest with you, I thought it was good for a year. So,
Okay.
I mean, that's
Um,
that's on me.
And then okay. Council, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions for Mr. Rhodes.
Okay. And do any of the commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
So at this point, I think we have everything we need. So you're going to see a breakout room request. Please click on that button and do not exit from Zoom. And we're going to, the commissioners are going to talk about the case, and then we'll come back and give you an oral order.
Thank you.
15 minutes, 50 seconds. Okay. Mr. Vaya, I believe you're back. If you can hear me, can you unmute yourself and just let me know or not?
Yes, I am back.
All right. Just waiting on the other two. Okay, I see Mr. Rhodes. Mr. Rhodes, Thompson, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just waiting on Miss Whitaker.
Okay.
Our breakout rooms are acting a little funny. She should be out any minute.
No worries.
Ms. Whitaker, can you hear us?
You're muted, but if you can hear, you can just nod.
I believe I just,
You're perfect.
okay, I have it.
Okay,
Okay,
you
great,
can hear?
thanks. So the commissioners deliberated, and so I'm going to issue a verbal order, which will then also be memorialized in writing, and that will be sent to you as well. So the commissioners find that no valid CRS was delivered because it was expired when it was delivered. The notice to vacate, therefore, is also invalid because there were open LNI violations and the CRS was not delivered. We're finding no abatement and we're finding no retaliation. And the landlord is required to get a new CRS and deliver it, and then rent will start being due as of the date of delivery of the CRS. So again, like I said, you will be receiving this in writing. Does anybody have any questions about the order?
Yes, if the commission could clarify, it sounds like no rent is owed. Does this mean that Ms. Whitaker can keep the money held in escrow?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
Once a new
So,
CRS is delivered, she will owe ongoing rent.
That's right.
so, just sorry not to overspeak or anything. So it just say I will plan. So if I go to the residence, provide a copy of the CRS. If she refuses to open it, or if I have a key. But if she refuses, like, what do I do to show that I've provided that information?
So you can either, so I can't give you legal advice, but you can always mail with the proof of
receipt. You can also take a picture to prove you've been at the property. Mr. Valle also might be willing to accept via email. But that's between you guys.
I
Okay.
have a question. I'm sorry. I have a question as well while we're on here. I don't know how to go about, as far as that, but because, we went to, we had a pre-mediation, and he
Sounds
don't
like
want.
this already sounds like a question for your lawyer.
Victor, yeah, we should talk about this,
Okay.
just you and me later.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so at this point, the session is adjourned and you may leave the Zoom session.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. The time is 12:14 p.m. on February 5th, 2025. My name is Allie DeMedeiros. I'm the attorney for the Philadelphia Fair Housing Commission. This hearing is specifically to review and approve the following orders that were previously submitted to the commissioners. Commissioners sitting are Commissioners Bias, Commissioner Brunson, Commissioner Sang. The orders are Deanna Judkins versus Michael Tutua Noah, 2024-08-05-18 through 1372. Kiana Fulton Vinson versus Two River Development LLC et al. 2024-11-15-19-178. And the last one is Monty Ferguson versus Nayland LLC et al. 2024-11-19-19-196. Do I have a motion to approve these previously reviewed orders?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Hearing 3 ayes and 0 nays, these orders are deemed approved. I'm concluding this hearing. The time is now 12:15 p.m.